Hi, I'm Miss Crawford. I teach English at Millennium High School in Goodyear, Arizona. Today I want to discuss Socratic Seminars. These are a format for class discussions based off of the ideas of the philosopher Socrates, who lived during the 5th century BC. And he believed that we learn best by group discussions where you pursue and develop insightful questions as a group through class discussion. I like Socratic Seminars for a number of reasons. One, it puts students in charge of their own learning, and it puts the bulk of the responsibility on them. It gets them to use academic terminology, it gives them numerous opportunities to participate, and it encourages those who speak too much to speak less, and those who speak too little to speak up. The setup is very simple. It requires that every student have a partner, and the partner will be in the opposite circle from the person that they're partnered with. So if you're on the outside circle, your partner's on the inside, and vice versa. It's your job to coach your partner during the discussion. So students sit in circles. There's an outer circle and an inner circle. When students sit in the inner circle, their job is to listen and discuss the topic that's being discussed. Only students in the inner circle can talk, and they have to have the talking cube in order to talk. Respect is really important in the inner circle, so I try to encourage students to speak at least twice, but not overspeak. So thinking wisely about what they do say. Respect takes many forms, but that includes being prepared for class, using the text to support the points you make, using body language and eye contact through active listening, posing questions and responding to questions, and building on the thoughts of others using appropriate transitions, asking clarifying questions, using language that's respectful, that appreciates and recognizes what others have said, actively incorporating others into the discussion, challenging what others have said in a thoughtful manner, summarizing what others have said and where you agree and disagree, using the text and real-world knowledge to qualify and justify your view, and making new connections in light of the discussion that's taking place in the classroom. The outer circle is a quiet role. This is the job where students sit and listen to the conversation and take diligent notes. They have 3 responsibilities: to coach their partner using the rubric, to pass sticky notes to their partner with suggestions, but to ensure that the sticky notes that they pass aren't just telling their partner what to say, but helping them make the connections on their own. Socratic seminars are question-based discussions, which mean that the students come to class prepared with questions they've already written. So looking at the types of questions students can ask, from the most basic to the more complex questions, we're going to move level by level. So the first level are the close-ended questions, the ones with an answer. Then come the open-ended questions. These are the ones that ask opinions and ask students to infer, but don't necessarily have a correct answer. The next type is the literary analysis questions. These look at the text structure and ask, why did the author make these decisions? These are important questions to ask. Connection questions ask students to connect the text to the world, to themselves, and to other texts. And these are really critical for developing those relevance connections. These help us come to the highest level, the universal theme questions. How does this text reflect the human experience, and what does it say about something in our society? So now that we've talked about the types of questions and what Socratic seminars are, let's take a look at one in action. This particular Socratic seminar is about the meaning of words. What gives words power? And we did this at the end of a unit where students had been working with nonfiction and memoir texts as well as speech texts. And we kind of based the unit off of Malala Yousafzai and her fight for education rights in Pakistan and throughout the world. Students had watched a documentary, they'd read a prologue, they'd seen and read her speech, they'd written an essay on the power of words, and read a page of quotes on the power of words prior to this Socratic seminar. For this next part, let's take a look at how questions build up, and then we'll go into the specifics of what I want to see in the classroom.
So aren't anything we say, aren't they just patterns of speech? Aren't they just sounds that come out of our mouths? Point, but kind of make you see what I'm trying to see. From my perspective, from the way it sounds from here, it just sounds like we're just walking around kind of brainless, and we're fed these words and they automatically change us, and there's nothing on our part, not fully, that changes us, that allows us to act up for ourselves, let the words affect us the way we want them to.
Okay. So, the way I see it is that Emily's kind of saying what Marcus do, whatever said. I have hated words, and I have loved them, and I hope I have made them right. So like kind of that she's saying that at times you can love words, but at times they can kind of hurt you. And at times they're good, but you can change what people think about those words.
Yeah, we're just sitting at home watching TV. So we're not doing anything to help it. Like, we can be trying to raise money to help it with like the CDC and stuff. But Malala, she's speaking out for kids like us who need more help than we do. We take advantage of all this education, and we don't realize that while she's talking about all this stuff, we're reading it, but yet it's not getting to our heads properly.
You were saying how words have a lot of meaning and power, and how one word can change a lot. But Malala here has been talking, and she's been really involved in this cause for a long time. And as you can see, they're still not getting their education. So if words are so powerful, why have so many people talked about this, and why have all these things been said but still there's no change?
I acknowledge what everyone's saying, that words are what is causing things. It's not the words just that are causing things. It's the words that inspire actions, that inspire feelings, that inspire things. Just saying that you feel something does not start a war. It's you saying you feel something and making everyone else feel something. And it's your thoughts and other people's thoughts, not just yours.
Woo, did you guys see that?
Sorry.
Okay, so I agree with what you're saying about how words they stimulate back, what Malala is doing, but she's using her words and she's using her language to stimulate actions. Because if everyone is just hearing the words, and it provokes their feelings, and they think it's a quote I heard before, the words have to go from your head to your heart to your feet. So they have to get you to start moving, and you have to take action, and this is what Malala's trying to do.
So, just going back over everything, I agree with what you said, where words are kind of just sounds, and it's how they're just said to us, and we can take it however we want. It's a matter of how we take those words, and like everyone else is saying, it's a matter of how we take those words, how we interpret it, and then how we act upon it. Because you were saying with the Holocaust, and words started that, but words started action, which started the Holocaust, and everything is based off of words, but actions are what lead things to happen.
I really like what she said about it has to get through your head and deep, because what New Year said, what New Year said after I talked, that was I really agree with that, because you guys sometimes something happens and then it's just a worldwide trending hashtag on Twitter, but you sitting down at your house on your phone typing hashtag this, hashtag change this, you're not doing anything. Like, you have to actually go out and do something different. So words don't mean anything unless if they're powerful enough to start a big action.
How words affect actions, yet actions affect words. And I agree with that. I mean, you don't just get mad at someone, you don't just yell at someone because they were just sitting there. You get mad at them because they like pushed you or something. You yell at them because of that. And then, but then people do push you because you said something mean to them. And it's a cause and effect, it's a circle that doesn't stop going. And that's just what I think.
Well, going off of what Alana said, how like words can't completely change you, it really does depend on the person, like how mentally strong they are and how emotionally strong you are, because if someone says, something offensive or mean to you, you could either just throw it to the side like it never happened, or you can like, it really gets into your head and you keep thinking about it over and over, and it all depends on the person, on how strong they are. How we talk to it.
Going back to what Garrett said really quick, I think that it is, words can change you, but it's more of a matter of how you think about those words. It doesn't matter if you're mentally strong or how emotionally strong you are, it's your thoughts and your feelings about what words are being said to you.
Okay, so just to go off of what you guys said, how you have to have confidence in everything that you do with your words. Well, Malala, just like an example, Malala, she stood up to speak for, like as she said, we will speak for our rights and we will bring change through our voice. Well, that means like she had to have the confidence, the one person who had to stand up and start something new, to start like the new revolution, to get people to actually take action and fight for the education and fight for the revolution.
I know this is kind of a non sequitur, but it's going back to what Noah said on how Malala is speaking for education. Even though she knew she was living in fear of how she can get hurt, she still did it. And even after she got shot, she still was trying to speak out and change.
Like, words don't do anything, and words have to encourage an action. But speaking is an action that you have to do. Like, you have to talk, you have to encourage yourself to speak out against something. And sometimes having an action is the wrong thing to do. Like, Hitler had an action, he created the Holocaust, and that was his belief that he strongly believed in. He could have spoken about it, which would have still been bad, but it wouldn't have been that horrible.
So, we're just gonna keep hopping back and forth topics here.
How like words are actions in a way. There's a part in Malala's speech, page 3, she says, I remember there was a boy in our school who was asked by a journalist, why are the Taliban against education? He answered very simply by pointing to his book. He said, a child doesn't know what's written inside this book. I feel like it's not necessarily words that can cause action, it's also fear of words and fear of what those words can do that can cause action, as the Taliban have clearly demonstrated by destroying schools and whatnot.
So now you guys have had a chance to kind of see how questions build and how students build off one another. But what should I actually be observing as an instructor? First of all, I should be seeing that students who don't speak often are speaking up at least twice, and their peers are kind of pushing them to speak up a little bit. As an instructor, I'm looking at the students who are speaking a little too much and trying to encourage them to choose wisely what they say. In addition, these are some other observances I would make as an instructor.
Right there, no, right there.
Give it to Nola.
So, why do you think the Taliban are fighting or are against education? I think it's because they're scared of the power that women can have. I think the men want to keep their power, and they don't understand what's in a book because they don't want to change. Like, they don't want the world to change or anything. They just want to keep it the same. And their beliefs, how the women, they can't live without the men. But so they want to try and keep it that way because that's their beliefs.
You guys are all talking, I know that you guys are all saying about how just typing something or saying something can change everything. But as Margaret Kipper once said, Life has no remote. Get up and change it yourself. You actually have to do what you're saying and enforce it yourself. So don't just tweet, don't just say something.
Well, this is a little backing it up, but earlier, what's his face said that words are just sounds, and then she said that words have like no meaning, but that's not true because think what the world would be without words.
Someone said something that made me think about this, is like, it doesn't just depend on how strong the person is, it also can depend on who says it to you. Some person you don't even know could say something to you and you don't know them, but if like your mom or dad were to say the same thing to you, it could change your life, it could traumatize you, and it can change who you are, and that just depends on who the person is. It doesn't just have to be you, it's also the other person as well.
So, New Year, you said that when you started talking a minute ago, you said that Malala, she got shot, but she still felt safe. She doesn't feel safe, but she just cares so much about what she's doing that she continues to do what she's doing and work towards what she wants.
People have different effects in their words on us. It's not only the people, and it's not only how we know them or if we don't know them, but it's also how they speak. So I think another aspect of the power of words is the power of speech and how people talk. Because you could have a powerful talker that means so much to you. They are confident, like Malala was, as we watched her. She stood up with confidence. She held her head high. And there are others that talk and they're not exactly sure what they're doing, but they're just trying to make their point.
Okay, so like I agree, but then I disagree because I feel like even if it's something that you don't know, like their words can still affect you because like not know Malala, we don't know, we've never met her, she doesn't know who we are, but her words still affect us.
You can commit suicide from verbal bullies, like, it doesn't have to just be like physical bullies or anything, like people like kill themselves because of that kind of stuff.
Helping, like retweeting something or like bringing attention to something, it's gonna obviously get noticed if there's enough people that actually care enough to do it.
Most importantly, when students have a Socratic seminar, they should have a good time while learning. They should come to a greater understanding of the text in question and of one another and how they think and feel about the world at large. It's a really wonderful thing to watch as a teacher, and I hope that you have fun having them in your own classrooms and having them in my classroom if you're one of my students.
Don't gotta lie, but I know life is always good.